Again, we're talking matters technology, and our Martin Munene wants to tell us how people in Nyeri County are using social media to keep the county government accountable. Very interesting. However, is the county government listening? How do they receive that feedback? Let's understand more about this from Martin Munene. Martin, good morning. Talk to us about this emerging trend from Nyeri County.
A very good morning to you, Wahiga Maura from Nyeri County. And like you've rightly put it, people in Nyeri have embraced technology in a very interesting way. And especially the young people in this particular county, they're using social media, especially WhatsApp groups, to ensure that they hold the county government of Nyeri and elected leaders, including members of parliament, members of the county assembly, and even the county assembly speaker and leadership to account. And actually, they've been raising issues in this particular groups. They've been complaining, for example, when it comes to matters security, matters tenders, and every single thing that relates to governance. And I'm going to be talking to a group of young people here who've been very vocal in this particular group. For example, we have a WhatsApp group by the name Ruare Opinion Shapers. We've got another Mukoroini Newsroom. We've got several WhatsApp groups in this particular county that these young men, these young ladies also are using to make sure that the government talks to them. And we've actually seen the governor respond, and we are going to have an example of actually action that has actually been taken in the streets to ensure, by the county government as a consequence of what these young people have been raising. Let me just talk to you. Kindly just come join me here. I want you to introduce yourself, tell us briefly who you are, and tell us why you've been using social media to make sure that the government is accountable, and give us an example of maybe something that you've said and seen action.
All right. My name is Anne Warugorowakiai. I am a resident of Nyeri County. Social media, when employed wisely, can be a tool for activating social change and actually enhancing our participation in the government. I will give you some very, very specific examples of how we as young people of Nyeri County have been able to engage using social media and actually compelling our leaders, be it the governor, senators, to actually respond to our needs. Last year, our county government actually elected a government without involving young people. And it is very hard for young people to go up against systems, to go up against even the government, both on a national and a county level. But using Facebook and social media, we were able to mobilize ourselves, we were able to articulate our issues, we were able to actually remind the county government that actually youth involvement and participation and representation is constitutional just through the use of Facebook. By doing so, the county assembly was able to listen to us, and also the governor, the then Governor Gakuru, was able to listen to us, and he has actually committed to giving us a young CEC to represent us in matters of youth and gender and social services. This is a first in the country, whereby you're having young people actually just typing their needs, typing their wants, and actually compelling the persons that the message is supposed to go to respond. I can also give a very good example in Nyeri County of whereby we actually, through Facebook, have stopped land grabbing and encroachment of a government estate called Kimathi Estate. Yesterday, we were able to reach out to the CEC for Lands and Housing in Nyeri County through Facebook, telling him that, look, we are afraid that one of the few remaining spaces in Nyeri County is about to be grabbed. And through Facebook, he was able to respond, and he called for an estate meeting. We went to the site visit, and he actually confirmed that the encroachment of the estate is happening, and there is instances of land grabbing. So we, as Nyeri County young people, when sometimes we find that our leaders are not reachable or we can't access them, we turn to Facebook, not to abuse our leaders, not to kind of like being disrespectful, but airing our opinions, and in a very learned way, and this is bringing change. So I am encouraging all the young people, all the young guys in the country, and women and other groups, just mobilize yourselves. If you can't reach your leaders, package your message on Facebook and on WhatsApp, and they will respond. They have no option but to respond. Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Let me just speak to another guy very briefly. Just tell us who you are and give us what has been some of the issues that you've been raising and why, briefly.
Okay, my name is Patrick Mwaridi, and I am the deputy, the PA to the shadow governor. And for me, as a youth from Nyeri County, we've come up with a way of trying to make sure that the county government works, whether willingly or unwillingly. And we have done that through social media because to some extent, that is the much that we can do, we as the youths. And actually, it has come to pass that what we are doing in the social media, the message that we are passing on social media is reaching the county government. And actually, the county government is doing something about it. Like, for example, there was this story concerning the governor building a house worth 200 million. Actually, we weren't supporting that issue. And actually, we raised our concerns through social media, and actually the governor responded, and something is being done about that. Right. Yesterday, there was a story about the vetting of David Nyaga, who was in the previous regime of His Excellency, the late Governor Gachagua. And actually, he was to some extent, he was involved in some graft issues, and he was involved in corruption issues. And actually, we were able to stop that using social media. If you go to those WhatsApp groups that you mentioned, there is that story which is trending as of now. And we expect that the committee that is doing the vetting for water and natural resources, the committee should take into consideration the proposals that we put on table, to make sure that we don't put such people back again into government, because there are more than 25 million that is unaccounted for. We cannot let that one happen as the youth of Nyeri. And as my friend has said, we wanted one of us to represent us. And actually, even if you are not going to get that position in the county government, we are going to make sure that the county government works and we are well represented.
Those allegations made by this young man, of course, they have not yet been confirmed. Allegations of him, or his own allegations. I'm going to just talk to, lastly, just one more, to briefly, just give us, just very briefly, your take on this matter. Very, very briefly, please.
My name is Andrew Joke, and I prefer speaking in Kiswahili, kwa sababu wenzangu wameongea kwa Kiingereza. My name is Andrew Joke, na venye mimi nataka kuongea about the social media. Social media hapa Nyeri huwa inatusaidia kwa sababu kama ile ofisi, ukienda ofisi ya governor, huwezi pata kitu ati muongee na governor unless ina trade kwa social media. Sasa kama youth na traders, government imetuambia ati there is 30%, lakini tu jaribu kwenda kutafuta tender pale hiyo ya youth, huwezi pata unless it trade kwa social media. Last year, the year 2016, kuna wakati tukiwa na Steve Derry, tukaambia serikali ya health ati huko kuna mgomo, wapeleke madawa. Assembly ilipitisha hiyo supplementary budget. By that time, it was in November 2016. Social media ni nguvu ya kila kitu.
All right, and maybe lastly, I want to just bring somebody as a wind-up, a very interesting young man. He's part of the shadow government of this particular county, and he's been a very, very vocal man on social media, making sure that the voice of the young people, especially in this particular county, is heard. Very, very briefly, Steve Derry, just tell us, what have you been doing, and what can young people across the country do to use social media to ensure that their voice is actually heard? Very briefly.
Thank you. I'm the Shadow Deputy Governor of Nyeri County, Kijana Steve Derry. Well, as I start, I would like to say social media is not just an activity. It's an investment of valuable time and resources. And as Nyeri County, we have now enhanced social media use. It's because many people on the ground nowadays, they all have smartphones. And that has enabled us, when we raise an issue, it's able to go all over the county. Everyone is able to hear it. And so it creates emotions. So we raise the emotions of people through social media. Whenever something is going wrong, whenever an appointment is made that does not favor the people, whenever something is going wrong in the government and we are not comfortable, as leaders, we raise the emotions of people. And when we create the emotions, it creates an outcry, and the governor and the government has to respond. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Wahiga, like you've heard, these young people using social media to ensure that their voice is actually heard. And their message is very simple, that anybody across this country who wants to voice, just who has something to raise or an issue to raise, can actually be able to do it. And nobody should feel powerless or voiceless, especially in this day and time when we have social media.